All right, hey, we're live. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. We have quite a number of questions for everybody from the Facebook group. I made a post about the live stream, and we have quite a bit of questions to go through with that. But feel free to hop on and ask your questions, and we'll just have some fun for this hour. And the whole goal again is to help. Maybe you're new to ZimmWriter and you need some help figuring things out. You have some specific questions. This is the time for you to get that one-on-one time. Pretty soon I'm going to start charging for one-on-one time. And this is where you can get it for free. Okay. So I'm trying to make an hour available each Friday for you to come here free of charge and get that one-on-one time for, whatever questions you have about ZimmWriter, not about life or how to have a happy life or things like that. That's hard to do. Okay. So a couple questions. I can start just kind of going through the list that we have. Let me refresh this actually. Refresh the Facebook group to see if anyone posted anything new in here. By the way, we hit 13,000 members. I think it's a big milestone. Pretty cool. I like that. So all the comments. Oscar would like to know about programmatic SEO. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger so y'all can see it. He was asking about programmatic SEO and then also the bulk writer. Amanda wanted to know about generating an article for a medical field, such as cavities. Thorsten was interested in writing content for all states in the US. Could be a place to visit, things to do, stories per state. Corey wants to know, I would like to see a topic for working in local aspects and targeting local keywords with the SEO writer bulk writer. Okay. Please share what you're going to release the series on site setup with ZimmWriter. All right. So we have quite a number of questions to kind of go through. I'll kind of go through them and some I'll be able to give a better answer than others. And there's nothing in the chat so far. So we'll just start going through some of these questions. The first question was by Oscar, and he wanted to know about programmatic SEO. He wanted to create competitor comparisons in the bulk writer. Okay. So if you're not familiar with the programmatic SEO in the bulk writer, you can click on custom outline and go to these directions over here that teach you how to make a custom outline. Okay. And there's all kinds of like instructions and things in here. But then as we scroll down, we can kind of look at the way to create programmatic SEO using these variables right here. Okay. So we're going to do that. I have this article here, iPad Pro M4 versus iPad Air M2. So when you go to Google, there's a lot of people searching these kind of things. iPad Pro M4 versus, let's just take out the versus iPad Air 4, iPad Pro 4th generation versus 5th, iPad Pro 1 versus iPad Pro 4. So there's a lot of different articles that you could write. So can we do some programmatic SEO with ZimmWriter and kind of cover this whole field very, very quickly? We can. So I put this query into, or this title into ZimmWriter first. So I've already scraped it one time. So it's already in the cache, and that way we can generate the article and it will go pretty quick for us. But we need to create our custom outline. So this will be our article title, and we'll put it in the bulk writer right here. Let's see, iPad Pro M4 versus iPad Air M2. And then we need an outline for this. To make a true programmatic SEO, we need that custom outline. And so I came up with this ahead of time, var1 CPU versus var2 CPU. So imagine our variable. We've got to specify our variable alongside the end of the title, var1. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see. How do I make zoom in? So I'm on a Mac. I can't figure out the shortcut on this thing. Because control, whoa. Oh, crap, what did I do? That's not good. What did I do? All right, whew. That scared me for a second. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. var1 equals, and we'll make the first variable iPad Pro M4. So again, I covered this on the last live stream, but you'll have your complete title in here. And then at the end of the title, you'll specify your variables. So var1, the first variable will be iPad Pro M4. And the second variable, var2, will be iPad Air M2. Put that right in there. Okay. And so this will kind of become our title now. And we can go back to ZimmWriter. This magnifier is what created this whole weird zooming thing. Let's get rid of that. That was messing me up. Jill's like, can you start over? I just got here. Sorry, Jill. It's all recorded though. Hey, W3L Elder Dragon. I don't know the first name. Hey, Seth. Seth is from Bali, Indonesia. Midnight here. And Selement Po. Not sure what that is. Okay, so we pasted this in for our title now. iPad Pro M4 versus iPad Air M2. And then we have our two variables in here. Now, using a custom outline allows us to do this in bulk, okay? So we could theoretically come in here and make this like iPad Air M. I don't know, is there an Air M1? Let's pretend there is an Air. Actually, let's just say iPad Pro M1. Let's just do that, okay? So we could actually come over here, change variable 2, and have it follow the same outline. So you could do all different variations. You could have 20 different articles all about different configurations. Although, you know, because we're SERP scraping, so we can have both of them in here. But because we're SERP scraping, there should be something in the SERP about this, hopefully. So now we need a custom outline. We'll open up the custom outline window, and I have this set up right here. So we're gonna look at the CPU, the screen, the camera, the audio, the weight, and then finally which we recommend, the var1 or var2. Okay, so that is our custom outline right there. If you have any questions, just ask in chat about that. And we'll call this iPad comparison. Now, if you were just going to write one article, and that was all you were going to do, actually, let me save this, run it, and talk. If you were just going to run one article, then I wouldn't recommend a custom outline like this. I would recommend using the SEO writer. But the goal of a custom outline over here is you can do bulk articles. You can do a lot of articles following that same outline format. So let's see. It doesn't matter what we select here because we've specified how many H2s we want. Let's do some literary devices. I don't want any lists. If I wanted lists, I could append on here like list if I want to, but I don't really want any lists. I mean, we could do tables and things like that, but I don't know. Nuke AI words. Yeah, why not? Bold to help readability. Enable key takeaways. So for this, I'd probably use a higher model. I mean, we could use GPT-4o and try that. And the voice, see, the voice is tricky. The voice is going to depend on what your site is. I don't know if I'd use I, like first person singular. Maybe I'd use first person plural. We could try that. And then disable conclusion. I don't know if we'll get a good featured image or not. I know all these news sites always end up using just like the image from Apple or something like that. So maybe that's what I'd end up using, because there's no way the AI is going to generate a picture of the iPad M4 or something like that. But who knows? We'll give it a shot. Let's just do a featured image and no subheading images. Let's upload this to WordPress. All right, we'll just put this on our site. And we'll just publish it. And, you know, let's pull a YouTube video in also. No, actually, let's not, because you'd want to specify where you want it. I guess, you know, yeah, let's modify this a little bit. Let's go over here and let's put in overview of the var1 versus var2. And then we'll put on YouTube, YT. So we'll put a YouTube video right there. Update the outline. Okay. Now we don't have to click this YouTube video thing because we're already forcing the video in there. And I don't know if I want to do a mimic or not. I could do reporter. Yeah, let's just do reporter. Audience personality, standard intro. Let's do a search intent intro. And let's do some long answer FAQs. And I think that looks pretty good. So we'll run this right now. Again, if we're doing this in the bulk. If you wanted to go low and slow, which is one at a time, then I would just recommend doing this in the SEO writer. But again, bulk writer, we could queue up lots and lots of articles. It did the SERP scrape already. This was the SERP scrape right here. So it's all cached. It's just pulling that from the database, and it's jumping right into writing the article right now. Although I don't know what model I'm using for the ancillarily, I can't even say the word, tasks. I hope it's not Llama, because then it would take a little bit of time, and I'm not really interested in that. And then let's see, it should end up going in here when it's done. So we'll kind of see what happens. Okay, kind of let that run for a moment, and we'll tackle some more questions. All right, no questions in chat so far. Let's see if there's some I can answer over here while this is writing. So Oscar also asked, bulk writer CSV file, how much background info is possible to give each article for more consistent and quality, such as healthcare? So in the bulk, you can specify the background information for like the global background. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, right? You can specify the global background in the bulk SEO CSV file. You can also specify it in the SEO writer. The limit, the amount that it can hold in there is about 1,000 words. Okay. So you can't really put more in. And the way it all works is just like the Penny Arcade. Now with the Penny Arcade, if you put a URL in there, and there's, even with 1,000 words, like 1,000-word summary that it would generate, because that's what it does. It goes in the Penny Arcade, it would go to the URL, scrape the URL, summarize the URL, and you get this result. The quality of it is somewhat dependent on the length of the summary. Okay. But one of the problems is the longer your article gets, the more repetition you'll have in the article. Okay. So the same thing happens with the bulk SEO CSV background and the SEO writer background. Okay. It's the same concept. We're summarizing the website, or we're manipulating that background information and then writing each subheading. Okay. So if you're just using a global background in the CSV file or the SEO writer, you could get repetition if you start doing like 10 H2s or something like that. So in those situations, I would probably have like 5 H2s, so that assuming you have a good bit of background information, I'd have about 5 H2s, no more, and you should avoid repetition. That's what I would probably recommend, but it cuts off after 1,000 words. It won't let you do more than 1,000 words or 1,200 words, somewhere around there. We're going to do Amanda's question next. I have this cavity example we'll tackle. Let's see. We'll have to. So I guess, I'm not going to do Thorsten's question on air, because it's pretty simple. What you would do is you'd come up with things to write about. You'd come up with some kind of it could almost be a programmatic SEO type of deal, or you could go to Hrefs and put in, we could go over here and we could put in, I don't know, let's make this a little bit bigger so you can all see it. Oh, things Toledo. Let's see what comes up. This is questions. Let's see. Things to do in Toledo, Ohio. 2,000 search volume. Fantastic. So you could probably just take this, things to do in, and then fill in the blank. Things to do in Toledo, Ohio. Things to do in Cleveland, Ohio. Things to do in Akron, Ohio. And just have it right. Just have it write tons and tons of content on this. And that's, in a way, it's programmatic SEO, although you don't have to do the whole, fancy, VAR 1, VAR 2, because you don't really know what's in that particular city. So I would, I don't know why it's making those noises. How do I mute this thing? Mute site. There we go. So I would just do that, Thorsten. I would just have things to do in fill in the blank, and then put 1,000 different cities in, or something like that, depending on how you're structuring your site, or maybe you have multiple sites, like one site for Ohio, one site for Cleveland, or one site for California. I don't know. And then just start filling this stuff out, because this hyper-local stuff, great search volume, and Google isn't coming down as hard on it as other types of niches, like an affiliate niche or something like that. Okay. So great way to do that in ZimmWriter, dirt cheap. Did this thing finish? Okay, the article finished. Let's check it out. Let's go to our iPad Pro M4. Let's see. Proof is in the pudding. Let's see how it looks. Oh, that looks pretty good. Wow. That could, I mean, you even had the little bar down here. That passes for an iPad. When it comes to the iPad Pro M4 versus the iPad Air M2, there's no contest. The Pro M4 decimates the Air M2. The Pro's M4 chip handles anything you throw at it, from intense gaming to video editing without a hitch. Its OLED display outshines the Air's boring screen, delivering eye-popping colors and higher refresh rates. The camera system with LiDAR tech and superior audio make the Air look like a joke. Sure, the Air M2 is cheaper, but it's packed with compromises. Curious about the finer details of this one-sided battle? Let's dissect further. Wow, that's awesome. You know, let me see real quick how much this costs first, and we'll read some more of that. So this was, we used GPT-4o, so 13 cents. So not bad. Not bad at all. Let's see what we get. So we have our key takeaways. The Pro's OLED Liquid Retina XDR display offers superior visuals. We got the LiDAR. The Pro's spatial audio and optimized audio system provide more immersive sound. The Air M2 is budget friendly, but the Pro M4 offers top tier tools and features. So there we go. We have a really cool, this is actually the exact video we would want, right? Don't waste your money, iPad Pro M4 versus iPad Air M2 explained. Now, if you were to compare this, like if you were to do if this article was like iPad Pro M4 versus iPad 1 or something like that, there might not be anything on YouTube about that. Okay, so you know your mileage is going to vary, but this is clearly a comparison that people are searching for and content creators are making videos about. So there's the overview. Let's look at the CPU. The iPad Pro M4 CPU outperforms the M2 processor with its cutting-edge M4 chip. We got more RAM capacity. Okay, that's cool. So let's look at the screen. The M4's Liquid Retina XDR screen clearly outshines the iPad Air M2 display. The M4's HDR-ready screen sets a new standard with its enhanced contrast and brightness. Okay. I don't see like a lot of like specific details in here, but like, you know, it weighs this much, or it, you know, let's see. Okay. The iPad Pro M4 ranges from around 1.03 pounds with its Wi-Fi model to approximately 1.05 for the Wi-Fi cellular variant. Minuscule weight difference is laughable when considering the portable design of both devices. They're touted as lightweight models, yet the iPad Pro M4, despite its marginal heft, fails to offer any substantial advantage that would justify this additional weight. Okay. Which we recommend, the iPad Pro M4 or the iPad Air. Given the array of advanced features and top-tier performance, we recommend the iPad Pro M4 for those that want the best Apple has to offer. This is freaking great. Okay, FAQ. So these FAQs would be from the SERP, if it has any. Is iPad Pro better than iPad? Is iPad Pro better or iPad Air better? Okay. Is there a difference between the M1 chip and M2 chip iPad Pro? How good is the M2 iPad? Imagine a shiny sports car that looks fast but only goes the speed limit. That's the M2 iPad Air. Sure, it's got an M2 processor for efficiency, but it's not groundbreaking. The Apple Pencil Pro compatibility is a nice touch, but Touch ID feels outdated. Okay. It's pure marketing gimmickry. That's great, guys. So I think it did a phenomenal job. So that is a way to do programmatic SEO to create competitor comparisons in the bulk writer. But again, it all hinges on, is there stuff in the SERP about, it doesn't have to be an exact comparison about both of these, but when you put this into Google, are you getting something about each of these? And there's tons. M2 versus M4 Pro, M2 versus M4 iPad. So tons of stuff out here on this. Fantastic. Okay. Let's answer a question or two in the chat, and then we'll go on to Amanda's question. So let's see here. Derek asks, I got to move this down a little bit. Derek, can you see this thing? So he asks, the local SEO buffet, is there a way to add mimic to it so it keeps the voice for the brand? You know, do you really notice a voice? Like if you, I mean, give me a specific example. In the mimic, or I'm sorry, in the local SEO buffet, right? That's what we're talking about. You can specify this kind of a voice, professional voice, which would be great for a doctor, or like a we or us or second person you, your. I mean, okay, let's make a stereotype here. Let's say that a plumber talks all like, um, you know, differently than maybe a cleaning company would. Okay, I mean, is that a stereotype? I don't know. But they all sound the same on the website. Like you're not going to write necessarily differently on your website on a landing page copy for a local business. That, you know, not comparing a doctor who would be, you know, professional without those personal pronouns, but something like this, like it's all going to kind of sound the same, right? I really don't know I've never seen practically an example of where Mimic would probably help in a situation like that. So that's why Mimic's not in there right now. Can Penny Arcade rapid rewriting be called as a programmatic SEO? I think of programmatic SEO as simply a way to you have something like this, and it can be either in the title or the outline or both. Okay, so you have like something that you can trim like a noun off of or a verb off of, and then just replicate it. So things to do in Toledo, Ohio, things to do in Cleveland, Ohio, things to do in Akron, Ohio. Okay, that would be an example of programmatic SEO. You could just go somewhere like, give me a list of all the cities in Ohio, and then go to Excel, and then in one column you'd have things to do in the next column you'd have all the cities, and you merge the columns over, and then you have a list of things to do in every single city in Ohio, and you can paste that into the bulk writer. So that would be like a programmatic SEO approach from just a title perspective. But then you could also do Ohio, things to do in Cleveland, Ohio, all that stuff. Then yeah, I mean, when you rewrite it, that would be programmatic SEO. You can kind of spin it and use a custom outline, like, you know, this, for instance, like if somebody had reviews of the different iPads and comparisons, you could kind of like, but not using this outline format. I'm trying to think of an example. As an example, here is Apple's site. Okay, iPad Pro M4, iPad Air M3. I think this would scrape, although you'd need to go into, I believe to make this work, come on, you'd have to go into ScrapeOwl, and then you'd have to add apple.com. I don't know if you'd need rendering JavaScript or not, or premium proxies, but I believe you'd need the full URL. Okay, you'd need to add full URL in here and save it, because what it's relying on this query string right here. Okay, and if you like delete part of the query string, then it doesn't really work. Now we're comparing, you know, three things. So you could use the different query strings. You know, you could set one comparison up. Can we just do two? I don't know if we can just do two. If you can do two, then it would get less confused. But iPad M4. Yeah, I don't know how to just do two. That'd be perfect though. Let's do this. No, I don't know. So we could say, okay, let's take this URL and put it in Penny Arcade. Then let's take this URL and put it in the Penny Arcade. Then let's take this URL and put it in the Penny Arcade. And you could have it all follow that outline format that we just did in the bulk writer. We could load up this iPad comparison and technically turn this into a programmatic SEO approach. Okay, so yes, you could do that with the Penny Arcade. Let's see what else we got here. Hoping you've taken all my questions from the forum. I don't know, we'll see. Can you show your workflow with product roundup and AAWP plugin? Sure. I don't really know what workflow you're specifically asking about, but I can show you how we can do it. AI blog post writer. So again, this site, aiblogpostwriter.com, is a site that I think there's even more stuff on here too that I have not added to a category yet. But I did Amazon roundups, the same products, but with different configurations. Okay, so this is with 3.5, for instance. And it explains in here my setup. So I used 3.5 plus stable diffusion. And then I set the articles at 5 products, second person voice, literary devices, lists, long FAQ, key takeaways, nuke AI words, bold words, search intent, introduction, and Amazon override to specify a custom shortcode to auto create the AAWP box. Okay. So as an example, we would say, we'd go in here and, you know, whatever my niche is. Okay. So let's see, AI Vault, Vault product roundups. So let's say my niche is women's fashion. I'd put in, what do we have here? Women's handbags. Okay. So we'd have like women's handbags, women's skirts or something like that. And then we'd start the roundup to pull those products in. So it's always a plural product name. Plural product name, just enter that into the box and you'll wait a minute. All right, and we'll get this result. Now, what I typically would do is I'd copy all this and I'd open up like Notepad or something and paste it in here. Let's turn off word wrap so it's a little less confusing. And then what I would do is I would, and this depends on how many product roundups I want, like how many products I want in the roundup. Let's say I only want 5, all right? And then I would make sure that the first 5 are actually women's handbags, all right? Sometimes it can get confused a little bit because this is pulling, it's going to Amazon, doing the search, and Amazon's giving it the results, and the ZimmWriter's displaying the results. So sometimes I think I used gaming keyboards as an example in the last one. I got gaming keyboards, but I also got some gaming keycaps and then decals to go on your keyboard. Okay, so I would filter out those things that aren't exactly what the product is. It looks like the first 5 are in fact all handbags. And this is not an entire URL. Like the URL stops right here, and then I put a little pipe symbol in, and this is actually the title of the product. Okay, so it doesn't have to be in this format. If you manually enter this stuff, you can just manually enter the URL like that. But I just put this in here for convenience for you to determine just on a glance if this is actually related to that particular product. So pleated skirt, leopard print skirt, skirt. All looks like a skirt. Cool. So everything's good. I don't think I need to edit anything, but if I did, I would do my edits. I would select all, I would copy it, and I'd go back here and paste it into here. Okay. Now, if I only wanted to do 5, I'd set it to 5, right? But if I wanted to do more or just a random amount, I would just set it at random, and that would give us between 3 and 15. You can also click randomize product order, and this is really cool. I don't know if I demonstrated this or not in the last live stream, but this is a pretty wild feature right here. Watch this. So I opened up a new tab and I copied just the women's handbags. So imagine this, women's handbags for, and let's just add on a string for a night on the town. All right, we'll come down here. Because if you say like for a night on the town, Amazon's not going to know what women's handbags for a night of the town are. Like the Amazon search kind of sucks a little bit, right? But we can kind of add this stuff in here. Women's handbags for a business meeting. Okay, so imagine these are actually search terms. So I can take all this stuff now and copy it all and paste it back into ZimmWriter. Now you might be thinking, well, wait a second, those are all the same products. They are. But what you can actually do is say, okay, I want a 5 product roundup, but I'm going to randomize the product order. And what that does is for those 5 that it's going to find, it's going to pull randomly from this list right here. So a women's handbags for a night in the town, it's going to randomly pull 5 from this. So we might get this one, we might get this one, we might get this one. Okay. And then for down here, women's handbags for a business meeting, it might pull this one, it might pull this one, it might pull this one, it might pull this one. Sometimes you'll get duplication of the ones pulled between different, between these different ones. There's no, ZimmWriter doesn't like look at one and say, oh, have I already pulled that one for a separate article? It doesn't do that. It just pulls them at random. But the cool thing is this allows you then to kind of spin the article. So now we'd have an article written from the perspective of handbags for a night in the town, handbags for a business meeting. Okay. and we're just using the same products, but you'll get different products in the roundup because it's randomizing the order of them in how it pulls them. Very powerful feature. And then this would be, this is important. There's a voice in the article and voice in the roundup. So the article would be the introduction, and then also the buying guide, like the factors to consider when buying a women's handbag. Okay, so the voice in the article would be this, and the voice in the roundup, you could set at first person plural, and this could be second person. Okay, I find the voice for the roundup, first person plural, sounds awesome. We thought that this was good because, there's a lot of we's in there. It's great. Literary devices, you can enable, disable that. All this stuff is pretty standard practice. Let's see, AI model for writing. Everything else is pretty standard practice. And then we have the Amazon override. So this is specifically what you were asking about. This allows you, this box in here allows you to put in any short code. Okay. And the short, it's Amazon focused. This is only for Amazon, not other, because you can do other like non-Amazon URLs in here. You can do like Best Buy or something like this, but this only works for Amazon. What it will do is it will find the ASIN in the URL and then put the ASIN right. I think it actually removes the curly braces and puts it right in here. Okay, and so this short code can be anything you want for the plugin, assuming the plugin does Amazon products and has a short code and somehow uses the ASIN. So, AAWP's short code is a little bit different from AFFI.AI's short code, right? But both of them use the ASIN. So you can put in your short code and then just put in curly brackets ASIN wherever you're supposed to according to their documentation. And I think this is the setup for AAWP. And then you'll click this box right here, use shortcode. Okay. If you do that, then instead of ZimmWriter pulling an image from the product from Amazon and using that as like the product image, it will actually it won't do that. It will instead use this shortcode and just insert the shortcode, which will be dynamically replaced on the fly. By default, ZimmWriter will create a call to action, like that little yellow box or orange box or whatnot at the end of that particular product's review. And if you don't want that, you can just disable that shortcode, or I'm sorry, that call to action. If you have multiple sites, like let's say you have multiple Amazon sites, you don't necessarily want to go back into Scraping Surgeon, and not Scraping Surgeon, I guess it is Scraping Surgeon. You don't necessarily want to go back. Let me just show you into here, options, Scraping Surgeon, and then select Amazon, and then change your affiliate ID. Okay. You can actually just temporarily override that. Where'd it go? It's not what I wanted. Topical, nope. Need a coffee. You can temporarily override that for this particular job by putting this alternative ID in here. Now, what's cool is this will actually save it. Like, let's put some stuff in here, some junk, and we can, use this. And then what happens is when you close ZimmWriter, this is pretty neat. Let's open up ZimmWriter again. Vault, audit roundups. It stays in there, okay? So you can, it will at least save one of them for you, and you can use it or, not use it, but it will stay in there if you happen to have like two sites and you want to reuse it or whatnot. But this allows you to temporarily override it. So maybe you have like 10 different affiliate sites. You can easily switch those out here. And then finally, you can choose your Amazon domain that you want it to scrape from and save your settings. So I think that covers just about everything you could possibly want to know about using the bulk product roundups. Amit asks, thanks for the reply. So is there any resource to build optimal custom outlines for your brain? I mean, your brain would be the resource. It just depends on what you want to do, like custom outline. So we built one for the iPad comparison. Okay. Well, I mean, you specify your variables. So overview of the, what would the variable be? The variable would be, it's whatever we specify, but it would be iPad Pro M4 and then iPad Air M2. So, you just use your brain to come up with it. Now, maybe you're asking from a keyword perspective, like how do we find keywords for this? That would be your brain too, and some, a keyword tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush or something like that. But you would just use your brain to kind of come up with, whether or not a keyword could function as a programmatic SEO opportunity. And if so, how do we build the content and the articles, like title, and then also the outline around that, if it does need an outline. Like Thorsten's example, things to do in, city, that doesn't need a specific outline. That just is based on the title. Okay. So I think that answers those questions. I'm going to tackle the next question then that was in the Facebook group. And if you have any more questions, you guys can ask in the chat here. So the next question that was asked was by Amanda. She said, I would love to see how you generate an article for a medical field topic, cavities, as an example. Okay, so we need an actual keyword from that. So how do you get cavities? It's a pretty competitive term, though. I think the difficulty inside of Ahrefs was 67. So I wouldn't be ranking for this, especially since it's in the health niche. But we can kind of get an idea for how articles are written. So I'll typically, as I'm starting a niche, I'll research some of the different keywords on Google and see how they're written. How are they appearing? How do the titles look? Right. So we have like, how do you get cavities? We have our search, our AI generated thing up here. Cavities, causes and solutions. What are they and how do we? So I don't really see a lot of. I see, okay, this is an exact match right here. I don't see a lot of exact matches. That can be good or bad. I don't know. Maybe it's not looking for an exact match. So I'd look at that and then I'd start reading the article. Okay, how does the article sound? Our mouths are full of bacteria, and your diet is the main. So we have you. So that's second person. What is a cavity? Are cavities avoidable? How can you prevent cavities? Very simple. Oh, this is a local dentist, huh? I've seen a lot of these local sites appearing for these national queries right here. So this is like some local dentist, because they're not trying to make any money off of this article. And so Google trusts them a lot more. So you'll notice that as you start looking at these national keywords, you'll see some of these local guys show up, and it almost makes you want to start a fake dentist office and start writing these articles, and maybe you'll get some search traffic or something. But I assume they have a Google My Business profile and stuff like that. So Google knows that they actually are a dentist office and not some fake website. So what we have here is, how do you get cavities? And I'll go to the bulk writer. I would just do something like this in the bulk writer. And this doesn't necessarily have to be something you would rank for. Maybe you have a client that's a dentist and you're going to give them a dentist package. And the package comes with some stereotypical dentist type articles. How do you get cavities and things like that? Okay. So I would put on professional mode, and we would not use literary devices. We don't want any metaphors or similes or onomatopoeias. We could put lists on. We could nuke, bolding, key takeaways would be important. Although, you know what? I don't know. A lot of these sites don't have key takeaways. Like a lot of these dentist sites, I think it makes it look a little bit less professional. Could be. I guess it depends on who you're writing it for. You're not going to rank with this. And then we'll do the search intent intro, because that's a great way to potentially get a featured snippet if those things even exist anymore. And we could get some long answer FAQs, because that's going to pull from the people also ask. We're going to do SERP scraping. And we are not doing a custom outline for this. And we will do a YouTube video. And we'll upload this to WordPress and set it as publish. Let's see. Now, one thing you could do is you could put a call to action in here. We could try that. Let's see, custom outline. Let's see. What is that? Let's come up with a name. Dentist call to action. Let's see. Go to our custom outline and let's look at the terminology I need to use. I would normally test this stuff out, but I'm not going to test it. Not a custom outline. I want to do a custom prompt, but I'm doing it all wrong. Let's see. Custom prompt. That's what I want. And we'll look at the guide. So context, text to modify. All right. So we'd say, add a call, add a add 1 or 2 sentences encouraging the reader to call Franklin Dentist office at 419-704-5678 and schedule an appointment. Also note that we are child friendly and have 500 5-star reviews on Google. Now I haven't tested this thing out though, so we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants here, but I think it might work. So we'll call this custom prompt Franklin Dental. So imagine you are an agency and you are you work for this client a lot. So you have your custom prompt in here, and we'll save this prompt, and then I would apply it to the to the conclusion. Okay, and then let's bump this up to GPT-4o. We want it to do a good job of incorporating this, so we'll bump that up to 4o. But you can write the article with whatever you want. And I would probably write the article with 4o. Okay. Now, just for sake of, I would probably do automatic, but just for sake of time, I'm going to do 5 H2s. We'll limit it at that. Actually, just set it to 5. This is the upper limit, but we're just going to lock it in at 5 right now. And featured image, we'll do another. I like Stable Diffusion Core, even though it's 3 pennies each. I really do like it. We'll do photographic. Now, this might be a situation where we get a blurred image because we're talking about a dentist's office. They're going to be talking about like a guy's mouth or something like that. And so we could get a blurred image with this. So this might be a situation where you want to test your prompts out and negatively prompt these things to avoid that situation, and maybe just describe it a general dentist's office without people in it or something like that. Let's see. We have professional set, auto style. I don't think there's anything. We don't want to do personality. And we could say auto style because it's going to ask, it's going to say like write in the style of a dentist who's professional and whatnot. So we'll do auto style, or we could do, I guess we could do mimic. I think I have a professional one in here, peri-professional. Write in the style that is formal and serious. Okay, let's do that, peri-professional. And let's write it. Okay. We'll see how this sounds. See if this can beat the quality of that product roundup we got. Or what do we do? What was it? We just had the iPad. That was a really good article. Really impressed with the quality of that article. Hey, Casey, how are you doing? Oh, you know what? I still have Amit's. You're getting pretty popular, buddy. I have your question on here the whole time. So I answered Bryce's question. Amit, I've answered a lot of your questions. Casey says, hi. No more questions in chat right now. Tell you what, free one-on-one training, whatever you want, right? Let's go back to the Facebook group while this article is writing and see what we got. Maybe some more questions. I'd love to see a topic. So this is Corey asks, I'd love to see a topic for working in local aspects and targeting local keywords in the SEO bulk writer. I think this is exactly what Thorsten was kind of asking right here. Just do exactly what I said. You could do it from a programmatic standpoint. And you could even go even more hyper local. Last live stream, I talked about how to, I think I did. I'm getting all these live streams and in-person meetups confused. I talked about how to extract, using the SERP discombobulator, different points of interest from different cities around the country. And then we can take that and turn it around and then write about a specific point of interest. That would, and generally, like a government point of interest, you'd have more stuff in the SERP on it. Like as an example, there's a park near me called Pearson Park. There is stuff in Google about that. So I do the things to do in the SERP discombobulator in Toledo, Ohio. I find Pearson Park. I write an article, things to do at Pearson Park in Toledo, Ohio. And it really pull that juicy local stuff out from the SERP and write about that. It would be great. Motion asks, when are you going to release the series on site setup? I'm trying, my man. I was at my church this morning removing bathroom stalls. Okay, so I'm all over the place doing all kinds of different things, a million things at once. I'm working as fast as I can. Last night I had my mother-in-law come over, and we do this YouTube channel, a faceless YouTube channel where we use AI to come up with children's stories, and then she'll do the voices for them, and we'll merge it all together and upload it to YouTube. And I recorded a demonstration of that. That's going to be in my Get Prompted course that I'm wrapping up right now. All the stuff's recorded. I'm just trying to get the sales page and all that stuff up, and some emails going, email sequences going with that. I'll release that, and then I'll switch gears and try to complete this course for you guys. It's just a million things to do. How do you make yummy sandwiches? I don't know. I want a yummy sandwich right now. Recipe, hasn't this been beaten to death? I think a lot of people in the group have used recipes. I'd reach out to Damon Nelson. He does recipes, and he has some good techniques for that. I'm not going to try to throw my 2 cents in. I know you can do it. Whether or not it would turn out well, I don't know. I think Google had a recipe in their Google AI search generated featured snippet thing, and it told somebody to, I don't know, it was bacon bread or something like that, but it was like, add a non-toxic glue stick to whatever you're baking. So it can be hit or miss with what it's telling you to do. Just be careful if you're pumping out 1,000 recipes and it's telling kids to put glue sticks in the oven. All right, how do we get cavities? That's done. Let's check it out. We'll check that call to action out. I'm really interested in that. Oh my goodness gracious. Wowee. That's a phenomenal image, because you know what? I would click on that. If that was on YouTube and I saw that, I would click on the article to learn more about that. That looks like it's part of like the Lord of the Rings or something like that. And there's a bad guy living in there. Wow, that's a great image. How do you get cavities? So this is the search intent intro. Cavities, also referred to as dental caries, I did not know that, develop due to the interaction between bacteria and dental plaque and dietary sugars. This is a phenomenal featured snippet right here. These bacteria metabolize sugars, producing acids that weaken and erode the enamel, the hard outer surface of the teeth. Inadequate oral hygiene, such as infrequent brushing and flossing, exacerbates plaque buildup and acid production. Moreover, consuming acidic foods and beverages can further weaken enamel. Factors like dry mouth, certain medications, and genetic predispositions can also increase susceptibility to cavities. This is phenomenal. Love that. There's our YouTube image. What are cavities? Causes of cavities. And if you read this sounds good. This is a professional, it sounds like that professionally written style. Understanding the formation of cavities requires examining the underlying causes that contribute to the decay of tooth enamel. Cavities primarily result from the interaction between bacteria. That's great. So I think we did professional, and that dials down the second person, but maybe you do want some second person, some use and whatnot. So maybe you want to go back to second person. You just kind of play with it for your niche and see what works. What are the main causes? Cavities go away. What foods cause? That's freak. Oh, let's look at the, this is a freaking good article. Let's see. Cavities, a prevalent dental issue, result from the, symptoms. For exceptional dental care, call Franklin Dental Office to schedule an appointment. We are child friendly and proud to offer 500 5-star reviews on Google. Awesome. Look, we just had our call to action here. See how cool that is? Some of you people that wanted to know more about custom prompts, I think some people were on here, like Kelly wanted to know more about custom prompts. There's a great practical way to use it. You put your custom prompt for your call to action, Franklin Dental, right in there, and it can incorporate it right into the article for you. How awesome is that? See what we get. Let's see. Dave the Sage. Hey, Dave. Let's see who else we got here. Tell us more about the Get Prompted course. When, how much, etc. When, hopefully in a week. Everything. I signed up for ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is awesome. I'm not going to do a plug for them right now, but they just tweak their plans, and it's unlimited contacts, unlimited emails, unlimited domain. It's like unlimited everything. They limited everything. It's a little bit pricey, but compare that to Get Response or I was on Beehive before, and that's like a newsletter thing. They raised I had 100,000 subscribers. Like that was my limit for my plan. I didn't have 100,000 subs, but that was my limit, $100 a month. They decreased my limit to 10,000 subs and increased my price. Can you, like, what? What? Like, we're going to charge you more money and give you 90% less than what you had before. I'm like, well, forget you guys. So I left, going to ClickFunnels, but I'm not building my site with ClickFunnels. I'm building my site with Blocksy and Generate Blocks. But then on the subdomain, I have ClickFunnels, and I'm running, I don't have any funnels or upsells or anything like that right now. But the course hopefully will come in a week, and everything's recorded. It's going to be $50 or $47, really inexpensive. 4 or 5 hours of material. It's going to cover the principles to prompt, not ZimmWriter related, just AI in general. Principles to get better at prompting. These are things, honestly, you've never heard before. It's legit good stuff based on the 3 years of prompting that I've done, both for Phrase and for ZimmWriter, the things I've picked up and discovered with working with the AI. And it's going to be a good course. It really is. Let's see here. Someone had something with Taffy. I don't know what happened. It must be a story that you didn't talk about. Did he do anything with local aspects yet? What kind of local aspects do you want? Can you use more than one custom prompt in an article? You can, but you can't like stack them if that's what you're asking. So we couldn't add a second prompt on top of this for the conclusion, right? But you can have different prompts for each one of these areas if you really wanted to. And, honestly, I don't use custom prompts. Everybody wanted custom prompts. So I'm like, okay, fine. The people spoke. I will give them custom prompts. Wash my hands of it like Pilot, wash my hands. I mean, you can do cool stuff with it. I think this call to action is a cool use case. But I'll see some custom prompts. People come in here and they just have this nasty old prompt in here. And those people need to take my prompting class that I'm going to release. Okay, seriously. But I'll see a lot of people just put nasty stuff in here, some old long prompt, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I'm not saying that's you guys. I really have no clue what users are individually putting into the custom prompts. There's great ways to put good stuff in there for the custom prompt. But for all my sites, I don't use custom prompts. I just let the AI, I created ZimmWriter to write good content. And I think the stuff's pretty good. So I would like to hear more about your specific rationale and reasoning for using a custom prompt. Okay, but I don't have one myself. I definitely left Beehive. Oh my goodness gracious. They raised the prices. They raised, like, to get the 100,000 subs, I think instead of paying $99, I'd have to pay like $3.99 or something like that. And I'm like, what? And they did it mid-plan. They're like, mid-plan, we're gonna limit you. I'm like, what? That's not legal to begin with. Like, that's a violation of the contract. But I didn't push the issue. I'm like, if that's what you're gonna do, I'm leaving. All right. I told him, I said, that is not how you run a business. Corey asks, anything with writing an article and adding in local aspects to target a specific local. I mean, isn't that what we just did? Or maybe you did not join in time. Did you see this, Corey? What we did, how we added this call to action at the end of the article, how you get cavities, and it put that in. Although I think you asked yours right after Thorsten's question. I told Thorsten said he wanted to write articles for places to visit in the US. And so I said we could find a way to programmatically do that. We found things to do in Toledo, Ohio, 2,000 search volume, very easy to rank for. Things to do in blank, all right? Things to do in Toledo, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Akron, Ohio, things to do in Beverly Hills, California, okay? Just fill in the blank. SERP scrape, and that's all you got to do. You don't need to do custom outlines or custom prompts or anything. Just SERP scrape all that stuff, and you'll be good to go. You do, I said this in Excel, you'd go into Excel, you'd put in things to do and then you'd have another column with all the different cities, and you'd merge both columns together and then put it all into ZimmWriter. Okay, I think that's it with that. Let's answer a few more questions, and that will be our hour. Let's see, sandwiches, recipes. We talked about how there's people in the group that can help with that. Features, going to pass on that right now. So we talked about custom. I mean, I'll talk more about custom prompts next week if you'd like me to. I just need more specific questions than just, talk about custom prompts in general, because I don't really know what your questions would be. Carrie asked the same thing. I need to be able to create them. I know the basics, but learn how to get advanced with them. I mean, give me a problem that you need to solve, and then we'll solve it on camera. Okay. I'm trying to do this, and I'm getting these results, which is not what I want. How do I get what I want? And then we can actually tackle that on the video. Recruitment agency. That's too general of a question. I don't know how to use that for a recruitment agency. Zoom asks, optimal way to make custom outlines for programmatic SEO. So we did that earlier. Programmatic SEO using the local buffet. Well, I mean, that's what the local buffet is. It's all programmatic SEO. You fill in your services, you fill in your cities, you get programmatic results. Take your take on what programmatic SEO is. We covered that already. Steps used by you, MZ, to take a fresh domain, rank 0 to top 10 of SERPs using ZimmWriter. Very simple process. You find your keywords in Ahrefs or SEMrush, and you'll find a keyword, and then maybe you can investigate the niche a little bit more. You'll get your group of keywords, and then what I would typically do, although it's a little bit pricier, is I would go to Keyword Chef, and I'd put all my keywords in. You need a lot of keywords, and it will cluster them together based on SERP results. You take that list, and assuming there's no product roundups in there, because the product roundups you would want to do in the product roundup feature, but you take all those, you'd slap them in the bulk writer, and then you do some tests to make sure you have the right voice. Okay, maybe there's a specific style that you need. You dial it in right, and then you just hit the button, the go button, and you write a couple hundred articles, and then you drip them out. And I've done that, and I'm getting 150 clicks on a couple of my sites a day. So that's exactly what I do. Soon, let's see. Oh wait, it scrolled up. All right, that's it on the Facebook group. Any last straggling questions in here? Last chance. Any tips for optimizing e-commerce collection pages? My spouse likes to shop. I'm taking a collection for her. What's an e-commerce collection page? I don't understand that. What's your favorite AI image tool? It depends on what I'm doing. All right. There's specific use cases for using ChatGPT that cannot be replicated anywhere else. And so I'll use that for some stuff. And then there's specific times that we'll use Stable Diffusion, like Core or something like that. I don't really use Dolly inside of this tool. It's expensive and the quality is not very good. I love Stable Diffusion, but there's also times I'll use Midjourney, because Midjourney is great because I can copy the style for this YouTube channel that I have where I'm making children's books. Let's see. Did you already say if you wanted to create a review site reviewing books based on my consistent review framework? So I'm not sure what your consistent review framework is, but that would just be a custom outline. All right, I don't know if I have one saved in here. Let's see. I have a rest. Okay, so this is an audiobook one. Well, we can, expound upon this. You could say, plot. I don't know what narration means. I mean, if we had a book in here, we could say book summary. We could actually say summary of, we could make it programmatic if we wanted, the summary of R1, my thoughts about R1. I mean, what else can we, I don't know what you do for a book review. All right, what else can we put in here? But you can put, you put your other outline elements in here, that you want it to follow for each of your reviews. You save this thing and you'll queue up all your different things. You'll use SERP scraping and you'll just go to town with that. You could also do that if you have URLs, like say you're copying someone else's site that has a bunch of book reviews. You go to their sitemap, you pull in all that stuff and you queue it all up in the Penny Arcade. You can load that same custom outline in here. And then what's cool is this, someone got confused on this, and that's okay. There's a lot of stuff that you have to read the directions, all the stuff spelled out in the directions. but you can insert your call to action. The call to action is simply a link to whatever URL you put in here. So if you're putting in Amazon stuff, right, it will put a call to action in the first H2, in the middle H2, in the last H2, okay? Buy this, buy this, buy this. You can also configure your call to actions in the options menu. So view latest price, you can put whatever you want in here. And then if you want a different color for your call to action button, you can set that in here. And then if you're seeing a raw link instead of a button, it's probably because you have this unchecked. If you check this, then you'll actually get that button, okay? But if you don't want that, you don't want any of that stuff, you just uncheck this stuff. You can also, in the custom outline, you can put in your call to action. Like if this is like summary of, we can put CTA and have that call to action at the end of this particular H2. One last question. Let's see, one last question from Shane. Sorry if this has already been asked, but is there any way to import the meta title and description into Rank Math when importing or scheduling posts? I don't know. The meta title and description. Doesn't the meta title just default to the title of the article? I think it does. Or there's probably a variable inside of Rank Math where you can do that. And then the meta description is stored in the post, I think excerpt, that's the right place. I think it's stored there, which most tools, like I think SEO Press, pull from. So that's where it's stored. If Rank Math pulls from there, then it will work. All right, whew, we got through that. Hour went fast. I hope you guys like these things. I hope you guys really like these things. I remember, if people don't come anymore and people don't want them, then we won't have them anymore. But we're doing this to help you guys. I want to answer all your questions. Whatever you have to deal with ZimmWriter and generating content, I want to help you. So please keep those questions coming. Please attend, tell your friends. And other than that, hey, thanks for coming. Good luck with your content generation. I'll talk to you later.